Oh god. Oh no, I can't stop it. I actually can't. Hang on. Come on, come back, come back, come back. Oh god, it's just going to flip over. Oh god. No, hang on, we've got it. We've got it. It's okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, there we go. Right, hold there. Hold there. Hold there, lad. Go on. There we go. Right. Oh god. No, I mean, it's all... Oh, there we go. Right. So, the solid rocket boosters have gone. So, what we're going to do now is... There we go. They're all gone. So, you see how those small separatrons helped us there. So, here we go. This is going into map view now. We can see that we have our apoapsis, that's our distance from the planet at this point, going up and up and up. This blue line is the theoretical line of where we're going to go. I want it to get to about 70,000 and then kill thrust. There we go. So let's just talk about this for a second because we've got a few seconds. This blue line is our theoretical, is our line. That's where we're going to go. If we don't boost properly, we're going to end up just going back round and slamming into the sea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click here and add a maneuver, which lets me very granularly set a nice little theoretical maneuver. So this is what's going to happen if we boost at this point. We're going to get it to about 75. That's nice. Jump back into here, hit the maneuver button, and what should happen is the thing will roll quite nicely. And what we've got is an estimated burn of 26 seconds. That's how much we're going to have to fire these engines for. Now, bearing in mind, we are not going to have enough fuel. There's a fuel over here to burn all of these engines for 26 seconds. That's again using my superior powers of maths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn slightly before, and crucially we want to burn about midway through the... I'll explain this later because I'm really not doing a good job of it, and I'm currently trying to make sure this thing doesn't just wobble off course horribly. So come on, back you see these RCS systems, these RCS engines just help me a little bit. I'm going to burn about now because these engines are going to run out of fuel before we reach the burn, which we have to reach 0 here on our there we go. So bang. Oh, that was perfect. Look at that. There we go. Nice. So what's happening here is this is the amount of energy we're going to have to expend in order to extend. You see this blue line is extending. We're going to have to reach an orbit. If we don't reach orbit, we're just going to slam back into the planet. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to wait a few seconds until this main engine, God, these are going nuts, gets us to about 0. So let's just dial it down a second and wait until we get to 3, 2, 1. Near enough. Nice. There we go. 0 meters per second. So we should now be in a nice little orbit, and we are. We're a little bit low on the other side. Let's just explain what's happened here. So, yeah, we have created an orbit. You can see we're in a nice orbit here. However, if we look this side, we're at 95 kilometers, 95,000 meters. That's great. That's theoretically fine. On this side, however, we're at 52 kilometers. To explain, in Kerbal Space Program, Kerbin has an atmosphere at 70k. If we within 70k, we're going to be creating drag. We're going to be dragging in the atmosphere. We do not want to do that. That's bad news. Because if that's happening, we're going to degrade our orbit. We're going to slow down because we're hitting the top of the atmosphere. The atmosphere is acting on the ship, and it means that our orbit is just going to degrade. So we want to do absolutely everything we can to avoid that happening. Now, the good news is we are orbiting this way, counterclockwise, towards the east. That's the way that we effectively get advantage by the way that the Earth, Kerbin, is spinning by going east. So always best to take off east if you want to save as much fuel as you can. And crucially, what we want to do when we get to here at our apoapsis, which is our highest point, is we want to burn to bring ourselves above 70,000 on the periapsis. Now, if you look at that, I can't move my mouse to show you, but that bottom number there is our theoretical one. If we exercise the maneuver here, if we carry out the maneuver at that point, we're going to go above 70k. That's perfect. We're above 70k, even by 1 meter. We're absolutely fine. We won't degrade our orbit. If we're under it by 1 meter, we will degrade it. So it's not good news. So yeah, what we're going to do then is we're going to wait until we get to our target location, which is over here, is our maneuver node, which I've set up here. The other thing I want to do actually very quickly before we do anything else is do this. A little James Bond moment as we open up the solar panels on the sides here. We really need these. These are critical. If we don't have solar power, we lose the mission, because at the moment we're piloting this remotely, and there's no other way for these guys to pilot the ship. So we need to get energy in here. If you look in here, you can see the electric charge. Is it climbing? Yes, it's climbing. There we are. Electric charge is going up now. And that's because this solar panel thankfully is getting energy from the sun. Yeah, so let's wait until we hit the maneuver node, or more importantly, let's just time skip. Great feature of Kerbal Space Program is the ability to skip time, because otherwise it is a really boring game. So yeah, here we go. Let's just skip right the way forward until we reach that maneuver. Let's kill it about there. So looking at our maneuver, it doesn't tell us how long we need to burn for, but it's 14.3 meters per second we need to gain. That's absolutely tiny. With this engine, we're not going to have to, it's not going to be hard to do that. We've got 30 seconds, just over 30 seconds until our node. So let's just wait again. Let's just zoom forward a little bit so we're not sitting around. 20 seconds, 10 seconds, and drop it down, and we'll wait until 5, 4, and I'm just going to use shift to do a little bit of thrust, and again, try to keep either side of it. I'll explain that in a minute. There we go. That should be fine. Perfect. So let's double check. I've killed that maneuver. Oh, look at that. Perfect. We're just over 70k. I'm just going to kill those because they're causing problems. Yeah, perfect. 70,100 meters. So that is just above the 70k limit. In other words, we're just over the atmosphere. It means we're not going to degrade our orbit by being below it or in the atmosphere. Good. Right. Well, that's the physics bit over. No, it isn't. Let's try and see if we can get to the Mun. How are we going to do it? Well, that is a good question, because for some reason this isn't working. No, let's go for the Mun, which is over here. Let's zoom out. Oh God, sorry, my mouse is playing up. There we go. Yep. So there is the Mun. Set as target. That is where we want to go. We're currently in a stable orbit, so it's no big problem. What we want to do is to go to the Mun itself. Sorry, I'm having a few problems here because I can't create nodes now. That's a bit of a problem. I'm clicking on the line and not able to create maneuvers. That is an issue and a half. Maybe I just need to do that. No, still not letting me create maneuvers. Oh, okay. I don't really want to sort of guess that much, because guessing that much is going to cause me problems. Let's just get rid of the canopy. So what we want to do is try to activate a... Let's try warping a bit. Maybe that'll help. That's weird. That's a weird bug. I've not had that before. Genuinely not working, is it? Okay, hang on. Let's go back to the Space Center. Sorry about this. This has not happened before. Let's jump back to the Munlander. Go back to here. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. That's really weird. I don't know what I was working for. Anyway, who cares? So we are needing to get to the Mun, which currently gets us our target. So what does that mean? Well, let's just look at something first. If we look at where the Mun is currently orbiting, if we get that line nice and flat to us, we can see that it is basically perfectly, or near perfectly, around the equator, right? So that's pretty much where we were orbiting. The Mun is relatively easy to get to in that sense. You don't have to worry about too much in terms of aligning. If we zoom out, though, and look at the Minmus, which is this one here, we can see that it's a very strange orbit. It basically has an almost sort of slightly slanted orbit compared to Kerbin. That's a problem. Or it can be a problem, because what it means is that when you want to try and come to orbit it, you have to make a number of adjustments before you can do so. The Mun, we don't have to worry too much. If we take off east and it's a relatively stable kind of rise into orbit, and we end up being basically over the equator, we're pretty well aligned with it. In fact, what we can do is I can show you here. So this is our ascending node with the target, right? This is where we overlap perfectly with the target. You'll always align somewhere with these things unless you've got a very weird polar orbit. We have an intersection here of 0.5 degrees. That's really good. If we were to instead try to go to the Minmus from here, so it's target, we'd end up with a very strange ascending node of 5.6% degrees off. That's a bit weird. Let me show you how I mean. So if we try to go to the Mun, yep, here we go. I had to move because it's working again. I don't know why that bugged out. Yeah, if we try to go to the Mun now, yep, there we go. Let's try to align ourselves. Just get a nice alignment. Yeah, so what will happen is we will end up arriving at the Mun in a nice angle, and we can literally just go straight away by basically boosting away from the planet and reaching the Mun. No trouble. If we zoom out and we do the same kind of towards the Minmus, right? And we'll do it from, here's the best example. So we'll try to go towards the Minmus. Now, you can see we don't really get an intersection, even though we should be, allegedly, according to this. Why is that? Well, if we look here, it looks kind of okay from above, right? It looks like, oh, we should be intersecting with that. In fact, the Minmus would actually be about here. But the point being is, if we were to intersect it there, we are quite a way below that line. You can see we're a little bit away. In fact, if we were to make it even clearer for you, here we go. So if I move this around here, whoops, there we go. If I move this around here, yeah, let's assume that the Minmus, we're going to intersect here. So we think, oh, okay, no problem, we'll intersect. If we boost out here, we'll go along this line. And if the Minmus was, say, here, we should intersect with it. Not really, because if you look now, we're way below that line. So it's a three-dimensional thing. It's a three-dimensions thing. It throws people off all the time. And aligning is a real pain in the backside to get your head around. All you really need to do is change your alignment. In this case, because we're targeting the Mun, and we are very, very close to its alignment, you can see, if we look at that, you can't quite see the blue line for all the green lines. But yeah, if we look here, you can see how my blue line pretty well matches up with the green line, right? So we don't have to make any kind of shift. But we would need to if we're going to the Minmus. Another thing that confuses people is the fact that when I'm doing these maneuvers, what does this mean and what does this mean? Right, that's kind of the main question. It's certainly something that I've struggled with in the past. This is called prograde. This is called retrograde. We won't worry about these other four here for now because we don't need them. This would help us if we were trying to get to the Minmus. I'll explain it later. I probably will explain it when we get to the Mun. These are the two we really care about. Prograde and retrograde. What do they mean? Well, all it really means is the way that we accelerate. So if we accelerate this way, that means that we're going to be going faster, or trying to boost ourselves faster this way. If we do it against, we'll go this way. We're going against the grain. What would happen in both cases? Well, in this case, we'll extend. I'll show you. If we do this, it's hypothetical. We'll start to do this. We'll actually boost the other side of our orbit. Out and out and out and out and out and out. If we did the opposite, obviously, we'd completely degrade our orbit and end up potentially just crashing back into the planet. Why is that? Well, it's a very complex factor of... Well, it's not a complex factor. It's just an unusual factor of, orbiting and orbitals, right? So if I come back to here, oh, it's a bit dark. Let's explain from here. So if I were to boost this way, okay, this way, prograde. If I were to go this way, loads and loads and loads. If you were to drive a car or anything that kind of is on Earth, you'd expect that if I boost that way, I'm kind of just going to go off this way, right? Not so, because the fact is we're currently captured by the gravity of Kerbin, and we have nowhere near enough power in our engines to just sort of boost off into space, sort of Star Trek style, and just fly off into space. Nowhere near enough power to do that. What we're doing is very gradually increasing the amount of energy we're putting in. What happens, therefore, is that when we do this on this side, we affect the other side, the Dexter side of the planet, the other side of our orbit, and that's hard to understand. It's a very weird concept, but that's what's going to happen. If I boost here on this side of the planet, I accelerate. In other words, I increase the the velocity we're traveling. We're going to go out and out and out this side. But that's perfect. That's actually what we want to do, because what we want to do, our goal is to get to there, the Mun. We want to reach the Mun. So if we were to do this and put it in the right place, let's just extend our do a little prograde burn, theoretical prograde burn. Where's that going to land us? Well, that is going to get us pretty damn close to the Mun. I'm going to slightly adjust where we go. And what I want to do, ideally, is kind of come in close-ish to the Mun and get a nice little intersection with it, right? So if I do this at this point, we're going to end up being about 419 kilometers from the surface of the Mun. We're going to intersect it here. We're going to encounter it, is what it's called here, and rendezvous with it about there. That's a bit of a way, and it's a bit of a strange position to get into. So I can reduce that, or I can improve that by fiddling around with these parameters here. So yeah, let's just try a slightly different approach. And that gets us to within 41 kilometers. It looks pretty good transfer to me. We'd end up being at a kind of decent angle. So that's okay. Again, the great thing about this, and if you've ever played or used the simulator Orbiter or any other kind of space simulation game, you'll realize how kind of intuitive this is to use. Because some of the other games, again, Orbiter is a classic one, a very hardcore game or simulator for space travel, and getting to the moon in that is very, very difficult. You have to use the kind of HUDs that they have, and they're very mathsy and very numbery. This is kind of nicer. It lets you fiddle around with these little, flags, or whatever you want to call them, little icons, to try and get yourself into a good position with the moon, or the Mun in this case. And I can sort of move things back and forth and get myself to really close. It's 33 kilometers. I'm happy with that. That's a very close encounter. It means I have to do less work when I get there. So turn on both those, SAS and RCS, and let's move to a position. We have 4 minutes, and unfortunately the established estimated burn has failed because I jumped back to the Space Center, which is a bit of a bug / annoying thing with the game. So let's just zoom forward to, here we go, just zoom forward a little bit. What I can actually do is go, no I can't, again this is bugging a little bit, this is a bit weird. Never mind, let's just zoom forward a ways to until we get to sort of about, I would imagine that will take a good 30 or so second burn. So what I'll do is I'll wait until we get to about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, sorry. And again, I will try to do this. So wait until about 30 seconds. Now I'll explain why I'm doing this. Because when I burn, what will happen is the game will sort of learn how powerful my engine is. It's really weird as to why it does it. There we go. So it reckons, there we go, spooked it back into life. Estimated burn, 23 seconds. You've seen 23 seconds go and you go, oh no. What I actually want to do is wait until 12. I actually want to wait halfway through the burn here. So if it's 23 seconds, I need to start burning at 12 seconds. There we go, just about. And what's going to happen, the reason we do that is because we actually need to burn halfway through to our node. So we're actually not, if you look here, we're not quite at the maneuver yet. The maneuver node is just going past us. And we're burning before it and after it in equal measure. And that gives us the best transfer. So that's a thing to note. There we go. So let's also just try a really gentle burn. There we go. Okay, so let's see get rid of that node. Yeah, see where that gets us. Well, that gets us to about 47. Kill both of those. That gets us to, oh god, there we go. That gets us to 50k from the Mun, which is really nice. That's a good distance. So let's watch then. Let's do a little skip. Skip forward. Here we go. Yep, there we go. We're blasting away now from Kerbin. Say goodbye, guys. You won't see it for a while. So we are travelling out towards the Mun. Let's just speed things up really loads. Bye. And if we come back around here, should see, there it is, the Mun looming towards us as we travel towards it. Great pace. Yeah, so here we go. Have we been captured yet by it? No, here's our encounter. So any second now we'll shift from Kerbin to here. Cool, that's great. Let's just slow that down. Now, again, we have somehow bugged out the maneuver thing. I'm clicking that and it's not working. So let's, was it? Okay, cool. Back to Space Center then. I'm back in. Sorry about this. I've not seen this bug before. I'm a bit annoyed by it, but whatever. Yeah, there we go. Yep, cool. So this is now our, if you like, this is what we have as our sort of the thing that is affecting us in terms of gravity. We're effectively have been captured by the Mun in terms of our gravity. So this is what's having an effect on us. That's why we're kind of rebounding around here. Now you'll notice there is also a Mun escape vector here. That's a problem. If we just did nothing and sat here, we'd end up just slingshotting around the Mun and end up flying off this way. We wouldn't do a Darth Vader. We wouldn't like fly off into space. But what would happen is we'd end up in this weird orbit of Kerbin. We know it's a horrible orbit that we definitely don't want to be in. So how do we sort that out? It's really no trouble. All we do is we create a maneuver at the periapsis, at the point we are here with the Mun, and all we'll do is we'll retrograde burn, and that will bring our orbit down, if you like, or our apoapsis down. Yep, there we go. So now we are 44. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Yep, there we are. 44 kilometers. Let's just bring this down slightly further, actually, because it's still quite a way out. Let's bring it right the way down till we are very close. Not that close, Jesus. About there. About there should be fine, actually. Yeah, that looks like a nice orbit. So let's do this. So we are currently nowhere near the moon. So let's swap to our maneuver, because we can actually get there before we're there, and it's cheaper to do it when there's less gravity. So acting on us. So let's maneuver to our position. I'm going to use a little cheat here and just do that, which gets us, saves a bit of time, and it will maneuver this way using this nav ball at the bottom. So we're aiming for that. That's our target. That blue thing there is what we need to target in terms of where we're going to be pointing when we burn. So let's again, this little cheat where you can kind of stop it overreacting. You can only do it in space. So here we go. Let's go to maneuver mode.